Hi. Welcome back to my channel. Continuing our series about Three.js and the Node-RED Dashboard, in this video I'll show you how to create a 3D digital twin using a model imported directly from my own SketchUp design. In this example, I've added several visualizations to the model, such as a tower lamp, conveyor animation, and dynamic updates for the weighing scale color and value. With this approach, we can build a real-time 3D digital twin that closely matches the actual machine or production line, making it easier to monitor and visualize process conditions in an intuitive way. This is a model of a process simulation system that includes multiple conveyors, an HMI, a tower lamp, and a weighing scale. I also discussed this process simulation model in one of my previous videos, and now we'll bring it to life by connecting it with Three.js and Node-RED. This is the model I created in SketchUp. It represents a coconut processing simulation that uses several mini conveyors, an HMI, a hanging weighing scale to measure the product weight, and a computer dashboard for entering the production results. In this process simulation, I'm using a Schneider PLC to control the conveyors and coordinate the overall operation of the system. The first step is to export our design to the FBX format. From the File menu, select Export, then choose 3D Model. For the export format, select FBX, then click Export to start the process and wait until the export is complete. After the export is complete, make sure that the destination folder contains the FBX file as well as the accompanying folder that stores all of the material textures. Next, open Blender. First, let's remove all the default objects by pressing A to select everything, then press X to delete them. After that, import the model by selecting File Import FBX. In the import options, set material name to reference existing, then click Import FBX to start importing the model. After the model has been imported, I'll switch the viewport shading to Material Preview to check whether all the materials have been loaded correctly. If some materials are missing, go to File, then External Data, and select Find Missing Files. Then, select the folder that contains the material or texture files exported from SketchUp. Once the folder is selected, Blender will automatically relink the missing textures, and you should see that all the materials are displayed correctly. Next, we'll configure some of the meshes that will be used for our digital twin animations. The first one is the display screen on the weighing scale. Select the mesh that will be used as the screen and rename it to something easy to identify, for example, Scale. After that, switch to Edit mode and press A to select all of the faces. Then open the UV editing workspace and perform a UV reset. After the reset, make sure that the UV editor panel on the left shows the complete face layout correctly inside the UV grid. This step is important because later we'll use a canvas texture in Three.js to display dynamic content, such as the weight value, on the scale display. Next, switch back to object mode. For the tower lamp, I remove the original model that came from SketchUp and replace it with the tower lamp model that I used in one of the previous videos. I then import that model into the scene and position it accordingly. Finally, make sure that the name of each lamp mesh is set correctly, since these names will be used later in the Three.js code to locate and control the individual green, yellow, and red indicator lights. Next, I'll rename the conveyor meshes as well, using the names Conveyor 1 through Conveyor 6. These mesh names will be used later in the Three.js code to identify each conveyor individually. We'll dynamically control their colors, changing them to red when the conveyor is stopped and green when it is running. This provides a simple but effective way to visualize the real-time operating status of each conveyor in the 3D digital twin. Next, I'll also rename the meshes for the conveyor slats, which are the small divider pieces attached to the conveyor belt. These slats will be animated later in Three.js. I'll move them forward by one pitch and then reset their position repeatedly to create the illusion of a continuously moving conveyor. For the slats on the upper conveyor section, I'll animate them using rotation around the conveyor axis to match the curved movement of the belt. Next, I'll rename the gate mesh as well, since we'll be controlling it later in Three.js using a rotation animation. To verify that the rotation behaves correctly, you can manually rotate the gate inside Blender and check whether it opens and closes as expected. The most important part here is setting the origin point correctly, because the origin determines the pivot around which the object rotates. If the origin is not in the right location, the gate will not move naturally. It's also important to pay attention to the parent and child relationships between meshes. If an object is parented to another mesh, it will automatically inherit its transformations. A proper hierarchy makes it much easier to create realistic animations and control related parts together later in Three.js. After we've finished naming and configuring all the required meshes, the next step is to export the model in GLB format, which will be the format used in our Three.js application. Once the export is complete, I'll copy the GLB file into the Node-RED public folder that we configured earlier. This allows the model to be accessed directly by Three.js and loaded correctly inside the FlowFuse Node-RED Dashboard. Now let's move on to the Node-RED flow. For this demonstration, I'm using several switch nodes to simulate different machine conditions. In a real implementation, these signals would come directly from the PLC, for example through Modbus status values. The first thing to check in the template node is that the GLB file name and path are correct, so the model can be loaded successfully. When the model is loaded, we use the traverse function to scan through all the meshes inside the GLB file. This allows us to locate specific objects by their names, such as the tower lamp, conveyors, gate, slats, and the weighing scale display. For the tower lamp, we store references to each lamp mesh and add a point light to create a realistic glowing effect. For the conveyors, we save references to their meshes so we can later change their colors dynamically based on their running status. The conveyor slats and gate are also stored so they can be animated independently. Finally, for the weighing scale display, we create a canvas texture and apply it to the mesh name scale. This allows us to draw dynamic information, such as the current weight value, directly onto the 3D model in real time. Next, let's take a look at the data and watch sections of the template node. Inside data, we define all the variables and object references that will be used by the digital twin. This includes the conveyor meshes and their running status, the conveyor slats and gate for animation, the tower lamp meshes and point lights, and the canvas texture components that will be used to display the weighing scale value. The watch section continuously monitors incoming messages from Node-RED. Whenever a new message arrives, the code checks which value has changed. For example, the conveyor status updates the conveyor color, the gate_open signal controls the gate animation, the green, yellow, and red values control the tower lamp indicators, and the scale_value message updates the value shown on the weighing scale display. Next, let's take a look at the methods section of the template node. This section contains several helper functions that are called whenever the digital twin needs to update its visual state. The setLamp function controls the tower lamp by changing the mesh's emissive color and enabling or disabling the internal point light to create a realistic glowing effect. The setConveyor function simply changes the conveyor color based on its running status. Finally, UpdateScreen redraws the weighing scale display using the Canvas API. It clears the previous content, draws a new background, writes the latest weight value, and then refreshes the texture so the updated value appears immediately on the 3D model. Finally, let's look at the animation loop. This section is executed continuously using request animation frame and is responsible for updating all moving parts of the digital twin. When conveyor 1 is running, the slats are moved forward and automatically reset after traveling one pitch, creating the illusion of continuous conveyor motion. The end slat rotates in sync with the conveyor movement, while the gate smoothly opens and closes by gradually rotating toward its target position. By updating these elements on every frame, we can create smooth and realistic real-time animations that respond directly to data from Node-RED or a PLC. Here is the result when the model is displayed in the FlowFuse dashboard. I've also added edge outlines to all meshes, making the 3D model easier to see and giving it a cleaner engineering style appearance. The digital twin closely matches the actual process simulation setup, including the layout and the HMI display. In the off condition, all conveyors are shown in red to indicate that they are not running. The model also includes a tower lamp and a weighing scale with its own display screen, which will later show the weight value in real time. In the actual implementation, the weight data is received directly from the serial interface of the weighing scale. We can also see how the tower lamp lights up to indicate the current status of the production line, while the conveyor animation changes from red to green when the conveyor is turned on. For conveyor 1, I've added an extra animation for the conveyor slats. In reality, each slat only moves forward by one pitch and then returns to its starting position. However, because this movement is repeated continuously, it creates the visual effect of the slats moving upward along the conveyor without interruption. For the other conveyors, I keep the visualization simpler by only changing their colors. When a conveyor is off, it is displayed in red, and when it is on or running, it changes to green. This approach helps reduce the complexity of the animation while still providing a clear and intuitive indication of each conveyor's operating status. The next feature is the gate animation, where the gate smoothly opens and closes based on its status. As you can see, the movement is very smooth because the gate doesn't jump directly to its target position. Instead, its rotation is updated gradually on every frame, creating a much more natural and realistic animation. This simple technique can also be applied to other moving parts, such as machine doors, diverters, valves, or mechanical actuators in a 3D digital twin. The next feature is the weighing scale display, which shows the measured weight value in real time. Since the communication between the weighing scale and Node-RED is handled through a serial connection, every new value received from the scale is immediately sent to the 3D digital twin. As a result, the display on the virtual weighing scale updates simultaneously with the actual hardware, providing a real-time visualization of the measurement process. That brings us to the end of part 5. I hope this video gives you a better understanding of how to create a 3D digital twin from your own SketchUp models and connect it with real-time data using Node-RED and Three.js. As you've seen, by combining 3D visualization with live PLC and sensor data, we can build interactive and intuitive industrial monitoring applications. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.